It's a cool and windy day on the banks of the Reedy River as the Reedy River Riot and the fans of Greenville Triumph SC come into the campus of Legacy Early College looking for another 3 points today against the Richmond Kickers. I'm Chris McKoviak alongside me, Ross Davenport, bringing you the action from Greenville, South Carolina. And I have to say, perfect scarf weather today, Ross.
No, definitely. And a third win out of 3 would keep these fans warm until the next time they come home. No doubt about it.
Yeah, looking for the full 9 points as they welcome in the Richmond Kickers. And for Greenville, the top spot really of their squad has been the defense, and Dallas J, the starting keeper right there. Not needing to worry about too much, and that's the way they like it.
No, I think Dallas J won't be complaining about the lack of work he's had so far this season. This team was built around defense by John Harkes. As we look here at the last game against Chattanooga, how they packed the middle with Paul Klaus and Aaron Walker and force you out wide and force you into making mistakes.
Yeah, in the home match last week, the 1-0 win against Chattanooga, the Red Wolves only seeing 2 shots on goal, 5 shots total, with great stops like this, and also the defense really getting back and working as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, this play here, you see Tyler Polak make a slight mistake and almost bring the ball right back into the middle for Chattanooga. But they only had 3 men behind the ball at that point, but then 3 seconds later, 7 guys behind the ball, and the ball's cleared away and out of danger.
And we've seen different formation types from Greenville so far early in the season, but they've been able to stand tall throughout. For Richmond on the other side, creating chances has been the big worry as they face Greenville's top defense.
Yeah, to say they've struggled up top would be an understatement. Only had 1 shot on goal each of the last 2 games, but the injuries have obviously played a part in that. But even when they've had the chance from the set pieces, which is where sometimes you have to create the chances, the delivery has been poor. That was a low one there that never got over to the far post. We'll see another free kick coming up here in a minute where delivery was far too close to the keeper. We talked to Coach Buelow during the week. He wants to get that ball moving faster. Have to see his guys be a little more selfish. We'll see how that works tonight.
Yeah, he keeps saying that his guys keep looking for that perfect goal when he says, hey, we need to get the chances out there. We'll see if they can do that with some changes to the starting 11 as they enter today's match on the road against this top Greenville defense. They'll be looking to puncture, of course, with a goal of their own. Coming up, we'll see if Greenville can get the full 9 points on this homestand, or can the Kickers find their first win of the season? Coming up next on ESPN+. Welcome back here into Legacy Early College in Greenville, South Carolina. Again, I'm Chris McKoviak alongside me, Ross Davenport. Richmond Kickers coming to town looking to get their first 3 points of the season against Greenville Triumph SC, looking for the 9 full points in their 3-match homestand that ends today. Taking a look at our starting 11 for the home side today, pretty key change up at top, Ross.
Well, the interesting one here is Tyler Polak at left midfield, normally the left back. Dominic Boland, who was in last week and replacing Cole Sally, who got sent off, remains in the lineup. And Polak has played a little bit of left mid before when he was at FC Cincinnati, so we'll see how they do.
Of course, harkening back to the old days of John Harkes with FC Cincinnati, but we'll see if he can impact as well up top as we take a look at the Richmond starting 11, where we see plenty of changes overall. This formation we're going to try out too, listed as a 5-back. They've been playing a 4-back, but also some injured players return.
Yeah, part of the problem up top for Richmond has been their injury situation. Dennis Chin finally fit enough to start a game. Had a nice impact, obviously scored last game. And Mutaya Mawape, a little speedster up top, wearing number 80 tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if we can impact there as they look to create those chances, of course. As well for Richmond, just 1 point through their first 3 matches as they met the Lansing Ignite twice and lost both times. Some frustrations maybe from around the area, but for Dennis Chin and the squad saying, hey, let's just stay the course, keep things going, saying on Twitter, we know we have had a slow start, but I promise we will get it together and have a season we can all be proud of. And he was quoted also as saying ahead of today's match that everyone is together on the mission. They have a target set forth ahead And it really comes down to the injuries so far.
Yeah, with a disappointing recent history of Richmond and their proud overall history, it's a nice little post from Dennis, just letting the fans know they know what's going on. They've had the injuries, but they still think this season can be turned around.
And for those that don't know, Dennis Chin, quite a history of winning during his early days with Orlando City. When Orlando City was in the USL Championship, won 2 cups with the squad.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see what he can do tonight. Got a quality left foot. Daniel Jackson, who started the first few games, really didn't produce in the final third. We'll see if Chin can do that tonight.
Yeah, last week for the Richmond Kickers, they moved to that 4-4-2 formation, and they had Gallardo and Jackson up at the top. Chin came on off the bench today. Totally different. Gallardo takes a step back into the midfield line, and it's going to be Chin and Mwape both up top, making their first starts of the season. Yeah,
obviously the loss of Maxi Rodriguez, the real engine in the center of this midfield for Richmond. You got, I'd say, a rather weak second yellow last week in the first half, and once he left the game, things really changed and turned around. We'll see if Hughes can fill in his big shoes tonight. But yeah, Gallardo will be the big player in the middle with his free roll. He can cause some trouble, can Joe Gallardo.
There you see our head official for tonight's match, David Erbacher, as we get things going. And Coach Bulow said it was a big loss losing Maxi Rodriguez to that red card, especially considering how well the team played in the first 35 minutes.
Yeah, he's going to be a big loss, and he admitted that in our call this week. You can see there, he plays that defensive mid spot, and said he's the real engine of this midfield.
Cold day in Greenville, South Carolina. Relatively cold for this time of year, of course. As we see fans packing the stands on the campus of Legacy Early College, and quite a rebound here for Greenville after the 1-0 loss to start the season on the road against Tormenta, looking for their 3rd straight win. And depending on the result for Tormenta against Chattanooga going on right now, Greenville with 3 points today could wind up at the top of the table.
Yeah, which makes all these changes made at the back by John Hawks really interesting. Again, the defense has been the core of this Greenville team so far. Make these changes at the back is interesting. We'll see how Tyler Polak. We were looking earlier. Tyler Polak did play some left mid at FC Cincinnati. They never lost a game in the 6 games. 5 wins and a draw, including a US Open Cup game against Columbus Crew when he played left mid for FC. This was obviously after John Harkes had left.
Yeah, and we saw the starting 11 from Greenville, and we taking back. Hey, is John Harkes trying to pull something on us? Well, hey, there he is playing left mid. So we'll see how he can affect the game from there. As we take a look at our keys to victory today, Ross.
Yeah, for Greenville, in that first game against Tormenta, they didn't press as much, but against Lansing in the second game, kind of countered the Lansing press by their own. It's really worked well, and he's obviously staying with it tonight on the last game. It was a nasty foul there, but and Chris Bermudez is another part of that press. He's all over the field, whether it's on the left or the right, and obviously focusing on the result tonight. It's their 3rd straight home game. Easter weekend, as you can see, a little bit less crowd than they've had the last couple of games as a result of that. They got their first long road trip coming up, and a US Open Cup game, and the weather is the first really cold game they've played, so the focus has got to be there. And for Richmond, they've got to create chances. We talked about that earlier, and then some defensive discipline. Be a little quicker, clear the ball when given the chance, and focus on the marking, not the ball watching. That's led to a couple of goals already this season against them.
Yeah, if anyone saw the goal by Lansing last week by Alex Bruce, you know what he's talking about. As it's sent in there, picked up out of the air by Fitzgerald, who's been under attack from shots the last few weeks, but has stood pretty tall in there when needed.
Yeah, Kira Fitzgerald, a good veteran goalkeeper.
We'll try the left flank now. Here's Dennis Chin. Chin spending last season in Pittsburgh with the Riverhounds, but only seeing 5 appearances out of it. So it's looking like early on a 3-back formation from Richmond, which we saw nearly every team in League One try out in the first week, but now we're seeing it from the Kickers.
Yeah, it's a sort of hybrid 3 versus 5. When you have the ball, playing with the 3 at the back, and then when you need those wing backs to come back, it turns into a 5-man backfield. We'll see how it works tonight.
Here on the right flank, Bermudez cutting outside. Some contact from Thompson, tries to get the deflection. Gallardo will get the ball out of it as he heads upfield here in the 4th minute.
Yeah, Bermudez continues to impress. We talked to Coach Hart because I asked him who was the sort of biggest surprise of the season. He didn't say Bermudez was a surprise because they knew what they had in him, but he's really shown, he hasn't shown how young he is on the field, which is what John Hawks was very excited about. He's impressed both on the left and the right and taking players on and pressing.
And coming up through the New York Red Bulls Academy, just 19 years old, but he leads the league coming into the weekend at least in created chances with 8. Ball sent in, the cross floats through. There's Polak all the way back from that left mid position. Mwape trying to keep it in play. Indeed he does in his first appearance for Richmond this season. Bermudez takes a tumble, and the foul is called.
Yeah, perhaps John Harkes knew that with Chin getting healthy, I don't think any of us perhaps saw Mwape coming back tonight, but Richmond does have some threats up top, and maybe having Tyler Polak in there is perhaps that wing back on that left side that can come and help back, especially with Don Boland, playing only a second professional start here.
Mwape playing with Charlotte last season, and in his college days at Lindsey Wilson College in the NAIA. As we'll see him here, trying to stretch the legs, but Evan Lee will get there first. Lee facing his former team for the first time today. Spent the last 2 seasons with the Richmond Kickers, as we take a look at head coach John Harkes, who may have seen something coming with Polak there on the left wing, because we talked about it. Try to slow down Lockerbie and Mwape maybe on that right wing.
Yeah, we'll see exactly where Tyler Polak ends up setting up. He's definitely playing left midfield at the moment. We'll see how much he gets forward. He'd love to get forward when he was playing that fullback position, but we've seen what happens when the Greenville midfield gets caught up.
Coach Bulow sitting there has to be happy having some of his veteran players back up top. Chipped in, headed away by Lockerbie. Second chance coming, diving, stopped by Fitzgerald. We have our first corner kick of the match coming.
Well, there's that Richmond failure to clear and almost cost them an early deficit there. Nice strike by Paul Klaus and a good save by Gary Fitzgerald.
Paul Klaus getting that one off, the former DC United draft pick.
Let's take another look at that one. Shrugged off his defender and a fingertip save from Akira Fitzgerald. He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world. He had to stretch that entire frame there to get to that one, and you see him screaming at his defenders once again, not for the first time this season.
Aaron Walker, former FC Cincinnati player, standing over the corner kick just outside the Sierra Nevada Beer Garden.
Yeah, not as populated tonight in the mid-50s as it has been in previous games so far this season, but still a few people in there enjoying it.
Sent in back post. Keegan can't get there in time as it hops out of play. Goal kick coming for Fitzgerald. We saw David Bulow before, head coach of the Richmond Kickers, and he knows what it means to win at Richmond. So a statement like Dennis Chin made on Twitter definitely speaks to him as well, after playing with Richmond from 2006 to 09, then again from 11 to 2013, and of course won a title with Richmond in 2009. So trying to bring them back to those winning days here in 2019. Bulldog going down there. A foul will be called as play continued. It goes the way of the Kickers from our head referee, David Urbacher.
There's a requisite early free kick against Paul Klaus, which we seem to see in every game so far in this homestand. But that's what Paul Klaus is in there for, to throw his body around and make himself a nuisance at that defensive midfield spot.
Mwape going up against Polak. And maybe John Harkes having some confidence in making this move for him up the field with Dominic Boland's strong play against Chattanooga last week, helping out in that clean sheet. Now Boland starting at the fullback spot this week.
Yeah, I mean, with the small squad that Greenville do have, it's nice to see some flexibility from some players that can play in multiple positions should you lose 1 or 2 day injury or 2 suspensions as we saw last week.
Eli Lockerbie, the VCU grad, looking back to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, long ball downfield, headed up by the former kicker, Lee. Here's Keegan. Taken away by Akwe.
Akwe with another interception. He's been impressive in that regard over these first few games. Nice header there back to Dallas J, getting an early touch.
Yeah, it looked like Chin was trying to work it to the left wing there, but couldn't find the right touch on it, as Jay will work it out of the back. Kevin Paulitz there, number 4 with the ball. Losing it to Gallardo, but the defense helps him out. Someone that Parks called a silent leader, helping out the offense here. Keegan's wide open, maybe a step off sides. He doesn't get the pass instead. As it's worked back to Paulitz, and now Bermudez.
Yeah, Jay Keegan didn't seem to realize he was offside there. Perhaps should have swung his run a little wider, because there was nobody on that left side at all.
Scott Thompson takes over. Second consecutive season with the Kickers after spending the second half of 2016 with the squad, helping them along to the USL playoffs.
Yeah, Coach Buelow and their fans would sure like to have seen a Boubacar Keita at some point this season so far, but the 19-year-old who's on the U20 US men's national team actually picked up a hamstring injury last month, and obviously with the World Cup coming up, you'd have to think Richmond are going to be very careful with him at this point.
Paulitz down the left flank as they'll pass it around, trying to find some room. Pressure from Chin and Gallardo, but easy through it with Evan Lee. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Ball will trickle out of play here and over the end line. Apologize for our technical difficulties with the wind howling here at Legacy Early College.
The Richmond defenders apologizing for their defensive technical difficulties at the moment. That was a shank there, out for a corner. Just more problems at the back for Richmond. Just can't seem to clear the ball effectively.
Part of the keys to victory for Ross, and see pretty clearly there. Aaron Walker taking an extra inch there with the ball, headed up. Tried to work it back off the head and in, but instead out of play and into the Reedy River Riot.
Yeah, so our far post a far post corner early from Greenville. Now the near post one. They're making Richmond think about it, mixing things up a little bit.
Here they are, the supporters club for Greenville Triumph SC, coming out in force despite the weather and bundled up, rightfully so.
There's a few brave souls in t-shirts there I saw. Press here by Greenville.
And this is one thing the Richmond Kickers had a lot of trouble with when they opened the season against Lansing Ignite up at City Stadium. Down the right flank, over the top, Lockerbie making the run. And out of play, it'll be a throw-in for Greenville. And Lockerbie was the key to that Chin goal they had at Lansing last week.
He's an interesting character, Lockerbie. Loves to get forward, good cross with the ball. He's not the tallest at 5'8", but yeah, you talked about that goal last week, that tenacious work down on the byline led to the goal by Chin. Get forward again tonight here and cause some trouble.
He played in USL League 2 as well with Orlando City SC U23 and the Des Moines Menace, which are always contending for titles in League 2. Out of play, off of Lockerbie. Yes, it is, as Gomez will get the throw in.
And Carlos Gomez came off the bench in the first game of the season, but has been really impressive since then.
And Coach Hark's telling us this week, trying to get him back with the club in terms of fitness level, as some visa issues caused him to be late in joining the squad, but with a few matches under his belt now, part of why he's gotten the start in the last two over Sammy Gadiri.
Yeah, obviously scored the goal that didn't count in the first half last week, and then set up the goal that did count for Jay Keegan with a superb low cross towards that near post. Looks like he might have more of a free roll tonight. He was playing on the right wing a little bit last game with Bermudez, but Bermudez, again, John Harks continues to use him on the left and the right, wherever they feel he can do the most damage.
Keegan and Gomez making the team of the week in League One, combining for that goal and the win over Chattanooga. This ball falls through well for Greenville, not able to capitalize though, as Iwape all the way back helping out on this one. Ball sent ahead by Thompson. Gallardo finds the rebound. Chipped over the top. Right back with Greenville. Late challenge there. This looks like it will be coming back. David Erbacher tried to play advantage there, but ball just didn't fall right for Richmond.
Yep, yellow card to Cole Seiler, it looks like there. Not his first one of the season.
So will be Gallardo going down there at the end of the play.
Not sure what Seiler's complaining about there. He was very late. And nasty challenge on Gallardo. Have to be careful the rest of the way. We saw him take a double yellow red card a couple of weeks ago with a silly collision on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the Anderson, South Carolina native, starting the first 2 matches, missing the last one with that suspension. Out of play, throwing coming for the away side. Kickers last week looking like a completely different team after that Maxi Rodriguez red card in the 35th.
Greenville's number 14, Cole
Yeah, the first yellow was a professional foul. I understood that one, but the second one, it was a stamp on the foot. Yeah, he was a little late and it was a little reckless, but the red card's a red card, and without him tonight, see how they managed to cope. Looking okay so far.
Awape goes down. Clean challenge, says David Erbacher from Politz. Ball over the top. Onside is Jake Keegan, looking for some help inside the box. Left flank now. Keegan cuts it back to Pollock. Sends it in and grabbed out of the air by Fitzgerald. No one making the run to that far post.
Yeah, that one's going to be whipped in a little lower by Pollock there. Far too easy for Akira Fitzgerald, who's looking to get the ball and distribute here. One thing he's really good at is distributing. Akira Fitzgerald.
Cole Seiler there after his recent booking. Technically his 3rd yellow card of the season after getting 2 in the win over Lansing. Paulitz to throw in near side. He'll take a long one into the box. Few deflections. Chin. Pollock the interception. Acting like a 5th defender up the field from that left mid spot. Here's Lockerbie with the throw-in. Going the wrong direction. Hughes trying to work it back around. He's the player that Coach Bulow told us kind of filling in for Rodriguez today. And, of course, we should see Braden Troyer off the bench as well, helping in that capacity with his experience with the Kickers. Saw his first appearance of the season last week, working his way back from an injury.
Yeah, Josh Hughes did start that first game of the season at DM. Not being able to get much going forward here. I talked earlier before the game about Greenville's stoutness in defense, trying to make you go wide, as the Rich Kickers try to do here. Relatively effectively. Might be a little shove in the back from Lee, but he got away with it. Wagging his finger and agreeing that there was nothing in it.
Paulitz will have the throw in here in the 18th minute. So far, Richmond does have the edge on possession, but 2 shots for Greenville so far and none for the Kickers. But they have looked good in possession so far, just not able to find anything in the final third. Klaus sends it up ahead, but taking a tumble there was Keegan. Wanted to draw some contact from Connor Shanowski, but no call on that play. Shanowski, another one of those long-time kicker players. Multiple stints, 4 goals and over 80 career appearances for the Red Army.
Yes, we've seen Kevin Politz play right back, center back, and left back so far this season. Shows his real flexibility. The Wake Forest product. He's probably one, along with Chris Bermudez, one of the real impressive players for this Greenville Triumph team so far.
Very young player too at that. He's at 23 years old. Another New Jersey player for Coach Harks, native of New Jersey, despite playing 3 years at University of Virginia in his college days. Bermudez Some open room in front of him. No one there filling it, though. Keegan comes across. Shot taken by Bermudez. But right there for yet another save today already, it's Fitzgerald.
Yeah, we talked to, well, John Hawks mentioned how it seems like every goalkeeper has a great game against Greenville. Again, Akira Fitzgerald off to a solid one tonight. It was a good save there. He had to get down low, and it was an awkward one. Jake Keegan was right there if that ball had spilled out. Again, good work by Chris Bermudez this time on the left.
It was even Mike Kirk in the win against Lansing on this very field. He had some brilliant saves, and along with Fricky and Koifik, two of his center backs, helping out with some saves from the end line. May have gone off the hand of Thompson. Indeed, it did. Free kick for Greenville. As we take a look at that chance from Greenville.
Yeah, good work from Bermudez. Keegan takes a defender with him, but there was two Richmond kickers over there to take care of Bermudez. They know what danger he can pose. Try and put two bodies on him as much as they can. Not the greatest shot in the end with his weaker foot, but chance nonetheless.
And a player, as we talk about versatility among many of these players, he's one that can play on the right or left wing. And Coach Hark's basically telling us it's how he's feeling in the moment, how he is reading the opposition, and he'll give the instruction for them to switch.
Yeah, I mean, he showed by the different formations they've started games with, the different formations that they've changed to during games, that John Harks is a very feel guy. He feels like there's a space he can exploit. Whether he sees it in film, whether he sees it after the game starts, he'll find it and make the necessary changes to exploit it.
His feelings giving the squad and the fan base 6 points through the first 3 matches. It would be quite the feat to get all 9 points from this 3-match homestand, the only 3-match homestand this season for the squad.
Tom Boland's moved about 10, now he's being told, I think he was creeping down the field, getting every inch he can. And referee Barker had enough of it.
And as we talked about, John Harks there, Boland trying to help out our camera shot, maybe get a featured image there of his head coach. As we'll work it back to Dallas J and saying, hey, do you want to touch in this soccer game? Here you go. Dallas J has answered when he's been called upon so far this season. Just giving up 2 goals in the first 3 matches. As it's a foul called there on the far side after the contact. Thompson will stand over it.
Yeah, the first goal he led in against Tormente, he couldn't do anything about.
Thompson winning the 2014 College Cup with UVA, John Hark's alma mater. Lockerbie now, battling with Paulitz. Trying to keep possession against 3 Triumph players. Indeed he does. Into the box now. Looking for the chance there at the end line. Back across, but scooped out of play by Seiler.
Superb work there by Lockerbie. You can see how deep Tyler Pollock is playing to try and neutralize the danger from a superb nutmeg there on Paulitz. Almost from a similar position he set the goal up last week. Tried the low cross, but Seiler was there to knock it away for the corner.
That's what we talked about in the pregame. Greenville's ability to collapse there around players with the ball. And in that case, Lockerbie won the battle against 3 defenders. Ball sent in to the far post. Coming out is Jay, and he clears the line.
Yeah, good solid punch there by Dallas J. It's a well hit corner kick. It was going to be dangerous to try and catch that one. Punch was the smart move.
Another look at this defensive effort.
Yeah, he was on his horse quickly. Got just in front of his defender. That's sometimes the problem when you come out for those punches, getting through traffic, but he did it well there.
Lockerbie takes it in the midfield. Moape looking to get in the box. Indeed he will. Cuts back. Losing room. He has Lockerbie next to him. He'll use that help.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the overlapping run from Lockerbie. He looked up, but he was sitting quite far back behind him. Greenville definitely packing the back here.
Throw in, but Pollock is right there. Goes down, and Gallardo will be called for the foul, as it'll be a free kick for the home side. Fans follow Greenville, Richmond, and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. And of course, coming on ESPN Plus, U.S. Open Cup action on May 7th and 8th, just a few weeks away.
Yeah, exciting stuff for Greenville. If they can take care of Tormentor, and of course that's not going to be an easy task, they'll get an in-state match rivalry against Charleston Battery.
That'd be a fun one for the state of South Carolina as Walker gets ready to take this free kick. And that battle against Tormenta will come on this very field. A fun one for the USL League One fans early on in the Open Cup.
Man, Richmond backline sitting super deep here on the penalty spot. You normally see a free kick from this spot, them out on the edge of the 18-yard box, but it's taken quickly.
Looks like a corner kick for Bermudez and Greenville as Aaron Walker comes over, and we know the Triumph like to take some of these set pieces a bit quickly.
Yes, we saw that result in a goal recently. You get that free kick, sometimes the defense turns off. Allowed that goal by Jake Keegan.
Another short one. Pollock under this one, but sends it into the riot, as it'll be a goal kick for Fitzgerald. Kira Fitzgerald, the Japanese goalkeeper, 31 years old, played the last 2 seasons with Tampa Bay Rowdies. Bit cooler today than those conditions he had in 13 appearances, but he did graduate from Wake Forest. Pretty nearby, right in between Richmond and Greenville. Here's Chin, still trying to get going. Has had a few touches in this match, but none really in the box.
Yeah, Coach Bueller surely wants to get Joe Gallardo a little more involved here.
He's been good at times this season. Scored a goal against Lansing in the loss in the home opener for Richmond. Up and out of play for the goal kick for Fitzgerald.
Every time we talk to Coach Bueller about Joe Gallardo, he can't contain his excitement. He's a good counter-pressing attacking midfielder, not the hugest player in the world, but he can play. He's going to be a key factor. Richmond are going to play their way back into the playoff picture. Obviously, it's still very early. A little shove in the back from Boland again. Got away with it.
Gallardo, experience in the USL Championship last season, 2 seasons ago. 7 appearances with OCB. Played in the Monterey Academy system and then with Orlando City after moving back stateside. Walker getting through the traffic. He'll keep possession. Chin with pressure up top, and Dallas J will get another touch. Paulitz. Met by Lockerbie. Comfort at the back for the Triumph.
Yeah, kick is pushing up a little bit further now. Gallardo there putting on the press, trying to force the turnover, but not yet. Almost one there. Here come the kickers now with a chance.
They have numbers moving ahead. Gallardo takes it, but takes the tumble, and that'll allow Lee to get back on the ball. We still have a player down. It's Josh Hughes for Richmond. He gets back up finally as he makes the slide challenge there.
Good work from Gomez, not giving up on that ball.
Dominic Boland all the way up with the offense, and he'll get back possession. Gomez is someone we haven't seen too much from in the first 28 minutes here. We saw obviously a lot of in the victory over Chattanooga.
It's going to be interesting to see how long John Hark sticks with this Tyler Pollock experiment. Again, not much experience there at the left midfield spot. He's going to be playing deep. Richmond know that, and they'll expect the attack to come down the right most of the time, especially on the counter. Do have some bench options, obviously, in the shape of Sammy Gadiri, Omar Mohamed, Cameron Saul, Edmundo Robinson, who missed the last game, and Ward. Plenty of wing options on the bench. We'll see how long Hark sticks with this Pollock thing.
And Travis Ward, a player that really impressed the coaching staff in that victory last week with his created chance to swing the ball in the box, something we saw him do also against Tormenta.
It's honestly a surprise that didn't earn him a start here tonight. be honest. We talked about Boland doing well enough. But here come Richmond now.
Thompson deflected off of Pollock and back to the keeper, Jay. Travis Ward, Coach Hark's telling us this week on our phone call that he has enjoyed the Jersey attitude from the trialist. And Travis Ward from New Egypt, New Jersey, went to Rowan for 4 years. And, of course, John Harkes is from New Jersey. So I definitely understand what he's talking about with that Jersey attitude, as they brought on Travis Ward as a trialist.
Direct now from Greenville, so changing things up a little bit.
There's Akwe from the back. They're with Inter-Allies FC in Ghana. Pollock has to make the long run to this left flank. They'll try to get Mwape involved.
Find out the story behind the number 80. Gotta be some reason for behind it. It's not often you see too many soccer players with that high of a number.
1 goal and 2 assists with Charlotte last season.
They do have Charles Boateng at 77, and Lucas Mendez is actually injured at the moment with number 97.
Well, here's the interesting thing about Mwape. When they initially released the roster 3 weeks before the season started, he was number 21, and a week before the season started, I swear, he switched to 80. So there might be some story about that we have to find out. We'll see.
I mean, I know their roster is big, but not that big. Tyler Pollock looking for the foul, didn't get it.
Still making a case as Lockerbie quickly takes the throw in. Hughes upended quickly by Klaus. Advantage played, but not for too long. Cards will stay in the pockets.
Yeah, second foul by Paul Klaus. Again, talked about it earlier. Loves to get involved. Give you a little kick to remind you he's there once in a while. Got to be careful now. You don't get this sort of accumulation yellow card.
Akwe. Lockerbie. Some room in front of him. Closed down quickly by Walker. Mwape feels contact from Walker. No call here. Out of play. Pollock will get the throw in. Lee, the Ohio Wesleyan grad, sends it around the horn.
Neither team's being allowed much time to settle in midfield. Haven't seen much flow yet here especially in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, we're used to seeing Greenville have some possession in these matches. They're only at 36% overall.
Yeah, John Harkes won't like to see that. The possession they've had, it hasn't been quality really.
3 shots, 2 on target so far for Greenville. None on the board for the Kickers. They have looked good in possession at times, just trying to work it well in the opposing half.
Yeah, we're up to 8 fouls conceded now in 32 minutes. It's been a bit sloppy so far. Nice turn.
Nice cut back there by Gallardo. Ball over the top. They want the offsides flag. They won't get it as Bolduc brings it down in the box. Lays it off. Thompson sends it in. Chin is there, but cleared by Lee. Has to get some help from his fellow defender, Boland. But Richmond, their first real chance of the match today.
Dallas J has to be thanking Evan Lee for that positioning there. If he hadn't been there, that would have been an easy goal for Chin.
Lockerbie cuts inside. Back across, but a last-second touch again by Lee keeps it from the run of Bolduc.
Good pressure here from Richmond. All started with that nice little bit of skill from Joe Gallardo, probably the nicest bit we've seen so far tonight. Here come Richmond now.
Keegan. Left side of the box, looking for the shot, sends it! The bender just wide of the far post. It was Lockerbie all the way up on that run, and he just didn't get back in time.
Can't give that man much space in the box. Jake Keegan. Richmond's had trouble with giving attackers time to shoot, and that was far too much space there. Not the best of efforts in the end. Didn't quite get enough curl in it to put it inside of Kira Fitzgerald's post. far too much space. We saw it cost them last week against Lansing.
It was Retzlaff there that was defending well, took a little bit of a slip, and that led to the curling shot to the far post. Right back with the triumph. Bermudez. Double teamed and we'll get the touch out of play. It's a throw in for the home side. I'm Chris McCovic alongside me, Ross Davenport, as we hit the 35th minute here at Legacy Early College in Greenville, South Carolina. Triumph looking for their third consecutive victory as they finish out this homestand before heading to face Forward Madison up in Madison, Wisconsin. Fresh off of their win last night over Orlando City B. Throw incoming. Headed up but the wrong direction and out of play. A free corner kick really for the Triumph here.
We saw a misguided headed clearance last week lead to a goal. There's another dangerous one there. Not sure what the Richmond defender was thinking. I think it was Scott Thompson.
Free opportunity here for Pollock to whip the ball in the box. I'm sure the Lincoln, Nebraska native not fazed by these conditions.
He's one of the ones wearing long sleeves though.
Bermudez couldn't get the touch in time. Maybe the break here for Richmond. And Boland, he says no to that one, and it's a goal kick for the Kickers.
Good work by Dominic Boland there, clearing out that sloppy mess from the corner. We've seen in the game of soccer over the last couple of years some real great goals from counter-attacking goals from corners down the other end, and that Dominic Boland was quick there, had to snuff out that chance to go the other way by Richmond.
And if we remember back to the 2-1 win over Lansing, it was Ricky Lopez Espin with the breakaway transition goal. That was the only tally for Lansing in that loss. Pollock. As again, the Triumph get an interception, but then they're intercepted themselves.
Yeah, the midfield play so far tonight has left a lot to be desired. Not much connection between the back and the front. Gomez and Guiado haven't shined yet. Bermudez has had a few minutes, a few moments here and there of brilliance, but midfield has struggled on both sides so far tonight.
Chin goes down with the late foul there. That was Seiler. Remember, he's on a yellow card, something to watch.
David Erbacher's a guy that looks like I wouldn't want to argue with him. He's not going to take any nonsense tonight. He's been cutting down on these little ticky-tacky fouls in the middle. Yeah. Little stab there with the knee and the knee to knee, but he's not letting them get away with much physical play this evening.
And that's one thing that Ross and I have definitely noticed watching games early on. A big problem in the league so far, cards and fouls overall. And really you have to say player awareness. If you're on a yellow, you shouldn't be making, say, X challenge.
Yeah, and I think as a referee, you know when you're refereeing at this level, you're being watched, whether it's by the league or by potential professional referee. Move up to MLS or the championship, you know you're being watched, and especially in these early games of the season, you want to make sure you don't miss a card. I think that's been part of the problem with the amount of cards we've seen. I think things will calm down as the season goes on.
Thompson there, take the throw in front of the Greenville bench.
I think John Harkes has moved from that spot. He's kept his hands in his pockets. We know he likes to demonstrate at times, and there it is. The right hand is out, and the left hand now.
As if on cue, some movement.
You must have heard me.
Thompson, the one down there, just before the sideline.
I thought Harkes was going to go to the heavy jacket. Decides not to. We'll see when that stun really starts to go down if he does.
He's the only member of the Greenville coaching staff without a jacket on, showing his bravery in these conditions, I guess. Ball over the top from Thompson. Chin is there, but Lee gets there first to help it along to Jay.
Evan Jay took his time to come out there. I was looking on the right-hand side of the screen waiting for him to come in and didn't emerge. Again, Dallas Jay with another quiet half.
No shots still registered by the kickers. Lee obviously had that big stop inside the box moments ago. As again, Hughes falling as he attempted a tackle. Mwape. Knocked off the ball by Paulitz. Ball out of play. Last week, the first week that Paulitz was not on the team of the week. Instead, his teammates Gomez and Keegan were.
Go back and watch his Wake Forest highlights. He's superb at those one-on-one tackles. He doesn't dive in till he needs to. Doesn't leave his feet unless he really has to. Very impressive player.
Played for New York Red Bulls 2 squad in the USL Championship last season. Of course, coming up with their U23 team in League 2 as Seiler helps that out of play. And it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Seiler managed to kick it off the back or the back of the head of Lockerbie there, I think it was.
We'll take it quickly here in the 40th minute. Ticking down here, 0-0.
We'll see. I think both coaches have come into this game knowing which key players to snuff out, especially with the loss of Maxi Rodriguez. Greenville are certainly focused on keeping Joe Gallardo out of this game. It's perhaps the same with Gomez and Richmond. There hasn't been much cohesiveness.
Ball over the top. Keegan's there making the run, gets it around Akwe. Over to Bermudez. Bermudez running centrally now. Ball sent over, but no one makes the touch in front of the frame of goal. It sneaks through, throw-in.
Some good cohesiveness there. The ball was just behind Bermudez, I think it was.
It was Clowes initially working the ball wide to Keegan.
I was Clowes, you're right. Oh, a touch on that, and that was in the back of the net by Paul Clowes. Chris Bermudez holds his head in his hands. Knows that was a golden opportunity with nice bit of interplay.
Bermudez inside the box, but cleared on the tackle. Gallardo trying to get it up ahead. And they'll get some room with Chin. Off of Lee, out of play, throwing. But there on that second look, it looks like Clowes, the way he attempted to touch or even maybe jumped there to move, maybe he thought Bermudez was closer to the far post than he actually was.
He did. I also think he wasn't sure. He's not a natural striker, so that position was a little strange for him. I think he was unsure which foot to go for the ball with, and in the end didn't go for it with either of them.
Good service there by Jake Keegan, who leads the league in shots entering today at least with 16. Next closest player is with 11. Volley there to clear it by Retzlaff, and still Richmond trying to get out of the area, out of play, and they'll get the throw in.
Possession starting to come back a little more in Greenville's favor now at 42.1%. See if they get that back closer to 50 by halftime. Bit of room now. Good tracking back from Bermudez there.
Knocked down, foul called on Gallardo. And checking in on the scores around the league. First half, Chattanooga up 3-0 on Tormenta. As we take a look at this foul.
Yeah, just pushed him and clipped him. You and I talked a bit before about the game about Tormenta's offensive struggles, but now the defensive struggles, Peter, have come to light. I said it there by Akira Fitzgerald.
Gets it almost out of play. There's Keegan. Akwe will take it in.
Chattanooga showed last week a little bit of threat on the offensive end of things. A couple of great chances not put away, but 3-0, yeah, that's a little shocking in the first half.
And it's something I mentioned to Ross before the broadcast today. It's just a feeling I had, but we saw 3 goals in the first 2 matches for Tormenta, but draws and just 1 goal scored in the next 2, and now today, worry for them. As Chattanooga is hosting that match, looking for their second home win this season, as Akwe trying to clear it here. He does on the volley in the 44th.
3 goals in the first 17 minutes for Chattanooga, 2 by Beattie, and of course Eamon Zayed. If there's 3 goals, you have to think Eamon Zayed is going to have one of them, and he does, has the middle one of those 2.
Other than League One action, also keeping an eye on that, because if Greenville wins this game, they would move into first place with a loss by Tormenta in that match, which is significant considering Tormenta took down Greenville 1-0 in the inaugural match on March 29th.
But if you watch that game, Greenville dominated. It's just that late counter-attack goal that gave Tormenta the victory. I think that Coach Bulow said in our press conference earlier this week that Greenville is the best team in the league so far.
And he said not just defensively, but he said offensively. If you look at the amount of chances they've had, chances created, that they are the top team. And you have to understand that. And it's to Coach Hark's point that it seems like every goalkeeper they face has their best day against them.
Yep, Jake Keegan's finished well when he's had the chances, though. It's hard to keep him out forever.
Keegan, 16 shots, as I mentioned, leading the league, but just a handful actually on goal. It all comes down to finishing for really both of these squads at this point. As we're into the 45th minute now, waiting for stoppage time. As taking the ball is Gomez, left flank now, Bermudez, Polak, crossing over him, but instead it's Lockerbie winning the tackle, and Fitzgerald, a little cheeky move.
Yeah, Fitzgerald showing his footwork there. First touch from Chris Bermudez was just a little heavy, and that got him into trouble.
Bermudez was still down. He just got up. Very
fast
slowly.
to find him, though.
Triumph looking for one final stand here for halftime. Tackled out of play by Thompson. It'll be Paulitz that comes up to take the throw in.
Paulitz might be laying up more on the right-hand side here at the end of this first half.
Boland all the way up there near the box. Keeps it in play. Thompson there, the tackle. Who is this off of? And it's a goal kick. Just 1 minute of stoppage time. We're hearing from
The fourth
the
official
field.
has indicated 1 minute of stoppage time for the first half.
And definitely expected that amount after this first half. 0-0 here. And Fitzgerald taking his time with this one on the road. Again, Greenville, 6 points on the table. Richmond just 1. Both teams having played 3 matches to this point. Falls through, and that'll bring the halftime whistle here from Greenville, South Carolina. 0-0 at the break, and hey, the Richmond kickers looking pretty good out there.
Yep, toe-to-toe here with Greenville Triumph. As Coach Bulow said, one of the best teams in the league, and nothing to worry about there. The first half from Richmond, they've played their way into this one.
Plenty of chances to cheer about for the Reedy River Riot, but none in the back of the net. 4 shots, 2 on target in that first half for Greenville as we hit the break at 0-0. As both teams look for the winning streak in the second half. We'll be back with coverage from around the league here at halftime. Welcome back here into Greenville, South Carolina. Tied 0-0 at the break, just the way we started as we hit halftime here at Legacy Early College. This week, though, the Triumph busy themselves, just like in this game, helping out the local community with some youth camps, one in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and also helping out the Carolina Elite Soccer Academy. Evan Lee, Sammy Gadiri, Jake Keegan, Aaron Walker, Dallas J, Kevin Paulitz, Carlos Gomez, and assistant coach Alex Blackburn out helping out in the community.
Yep, great to see the Triumph players out with the kids. With the USL League One and Championship have all done a great job of working with the kids, and of course there's been a couple of real nice academy announcements recently, and they know the community is where it all starts.
Yeah, maybe Dallas J seeing more touches out there with these youth camps than in this match so far, getting a break in the back as those two tandems of players, Evan Lee there helping out with the kids.
Those flowing locks we don't normally get to see when we watch him play.
Exactly.
Jealous.
But good on the Triumph and all of League One, all the clubs getting out there as we look on at the Sierra Nevada Beer Garden. And reminder of our friends over, the Red Army, celebrating the match at Table Brewery, or hopefully celebrating as the second half comes upon us.
Yeah, stalemate was, I think, the word for that first half.
Yeah, definitely. As we look at the schedule ahead, unfortunately, Sierra Nevada Beer Garden will be closing shop for next Saturday when Greenville heads all the way up to Madison to take on the Flamingos, who got their first win in club history last night, 2-1 over OCB.
Yeah, some real testers coming up. That's the home opener for Ford. Madison, obviously, strong North Texas team, and then that May 8th game in the U.S. Open Cup against Tormenta.
Yeah, Ross and I will be back with you for the Saturday matchup against North Texas SC on May 4th. It's another 7 p.m. start, as we take a look at the other side with the Richmond Kickers, who will look to bounce back starting in the second half today, but also with a good long home stretch coming up.
Yep, good thing for the fans up there to see their team play in 4 straight games, including that U.S. Open Cup game against Virginia United. Play Lansing, I think, for the 3rd time this season now on May 4th.
Yeah, they're very familiar with each other, those two clubs, and Lansing getting the first 2 wins. So, of course, Richmond will be looking to get back at them. They'll face Greenville again on May 18th, once again in Legacy Early College. Now we'll take a look at the upcoming game from the USL Championship featured on the ESPN family of networks. Tune in for that one.
That's where Louisville wants to attack, shooting and scoring.
Saved by Caldwell.
Collier. Yes!
Collier.
Knock back towards Spencer. Brilliant finish.
had all these fantastic players from like all over the states, and it was just really fun.
Great to see Tampa Bay Rowdies training the next generation of soccer players here domestically in America as we take a look at our news and notes from League One last week, and have to say from our match too, a lot of close games out there.
Yeah, nothing's as exciting as a late goal, as long as it's your team that's putting it in the back of the net.
Both these teams hoping for that today, but also Grant Stoneman getting Player of the Week, and Keegan and Pepe at the top of the goal scorers, along with Stoneman as well. And Pepe, 4 goals, including the PK winner against Forward Madison last week.
Yep, we'll see those two go head-to-head in a couple of weeks.
That should be a fun battle between those two as we take a look at the full team of the week. Gomez and Keegan making that squad from the squads in front of us, and Stoneman taking home Player of the Week.
Yeah, well, Leffley was also in that game against Greenville last week. A nice performance at defensive midfield for the Red Wolves.
Yeah, some love to the defensive midfielder out there. Always excellent to see as we take a look at the power rankings for the league, that these are updated every Monday at USLLeague1.com. North Texas taking the top spot, 6 points from 2 matches for the FC Dallas affiliate.
Yeah, a win from Greenville tonight. You've talked about putting them in first place in the standings, but also put them in first place in the vaunted power ranking.
Yeah, and Tormenta in danger of losing that second spot, down 3-0 right now at the break against Chattanooga. As we take a look at our scores here from around the league, as I mentioned, Madison getting the win last night. Sean Russell goal late on proved to be the difference with the win over Orlando City B, and of course Lansing and Toronto, a fun matchup coming up.
Yep, good to see Forward Madison getting on the board.
Next week, Forward Madison will have their go against Greenville Triumph as the Flamingos try to get their first win at home in their home opener, along with some other late night matchups, including FC Tucson and Tormenta on Friday.
Yeah, we see that 5:50 start for the North Texas team. That's part of a doubleheader with FC Dallas.
As we move ahead, we'll take a look at our halftime stats and highlights coming up after this break. Back here into Greenville, South Carolina. 0-0 at the break between the Triumph and the Kickers, as Greenville looks for another 3 points here at home. Chilly day here for the Reedy River Rida and the fans here in the upstate of South Carolina as we take a look at our first half stats. Of course, 0-0, no goals to show you, but some chances for both sides.
Yeah, Greenville with the best chance of the first half. It was a good save by Kerr Fitzgerald. We'll see coming up here. Richmond, 0 shots on goal so far. Nice ball there, floated in by Bermudez, but cleared away, and that was just a chance. As that save we talked about, nice strike by Paul Klaus, and Kerr Fitzgerald at full stretch to palm that one away.
And we should see coming up that other chance from Klaus, as here it's Bermudez coming down the left flank into the box, sends it in. Another good save by Fitzgerald.
Yeah, much easier than the first one, but it almost bounced right in front of him. It could have easily bounced off his chest and right to Jake Keegan, who's coming in.
Adding into it, here's the play from Lockerbie. Very impressive around Paulitz.
Yeah, nice clearance there by Silent.
Still not sure how he made that move and got through Paulitz, the ball through his legs. But anyway, Lockerbie showing well in the first half, and here again for Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond haven't had any shots on goal, actually any shots at all so far, but they have dominated the passing stats, 232 to 176, and the possession stats, so you have to hope, and Coach Beal will be hoping the 1-1 will be coming soon. That was a good clearance there by Evan Lee to deny the chance for Chin.
Here's Keegan approaching the box.
Yeah, he'll want that one back. Really should have got that one on target. He had so much space, allowed him on the edge of the box there, and took his time and just couldn't get enough curl.
Gomez almost getting there on the far post, and here's probably the best chance of that first half.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He sort of, Paul Klaus landed with both feet on the ground, and just in the process of running, just couldn't get one foot on it. He thought about the right foot first, then stuck out the left foot, but it was too late.
So funny enough, the best chances so far for Greenville, the two of them coming from Paul Klaus up through the midfield and into the box. There's 4 total shots for Greenville, and we talked about one of the keys today for the Richmond Kickers, getting chances, and they've had none. You see all the zeros on our board right in front of us.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Beal will be giving them the grief at halftime about that. They've had those crosses, but they've been out-crossed 11-3 as well by Greenville, as you can see on those stats. But still 45 minutes to turn it around for both teams. And there's a substitution here for Greenville.
Travis Ward, who we saw really impact the match last week. We're kind of surprised he didn't see him come in. And there's the switch we might have expected early on. Pollock will move to the back line, and Travis Ward comes in. And only 45 minutes of running he'll have to do, so we'll see how he affects the match.
Yeah, there's the answer to that question we posed earlier about when the Pollock experiment would end. So, yeah, we'll probably see Pollock's move to right back, Pollock to left back, and Ward will push up. Perhaps on the left side. We'll see where Bermudez starts off here. He may actually, Ward's there on the right. Looks like Bermudez will move to the left.
Another good showing by the Limestone College grad Boland as he comes off. David Urbacher only handing out 1 yellow card. That to Cole Seiler in the first half. Still scarred by the memory of 3 red cards against Lansing.
It was a fun game, though.
Hey, that's for sure for a home opener. As Klaus will take it, and we're back underway here at Legacy Early College. 0-0. I'm Chris Makoviak alongside me, Ross Davenport. Happy to have you back with us. Cool evening, but the fans coming out here in Greenville.
And one thing I'm sure Coach Harks would have told Travis Ward, he's good at bringing the energy. He's a tall player, but he brings the pace as well on that right side. We'll see what he can do to this team here in the second half and perhaps spark a goal or at least a decent scoring chance like they had in the first half and the early against when Fitzgerald made that great save.
Bermudez on the left flank. That goes out of play. It's a throw-in for Richmond.
So one thing Coach Harks does have a dearth of on the bench, a plethora of, I should say, is attacking options. Young's really the only defensive option on the bench. You got Gadiri, Mohammed, Saul, Robinson, who can all play up front. Perhaps we might see our first sighting of Omar Mohammed coming off a preseason injury.
Yeah, a roster just of 19 players. So far, they haven't had to deal with too many injury issues. Pollock and Walker standing over the ball. Klaus. Back to Walker. Didn't expect it, though. Gallardo almost getting there. As they'll swing it around the back. Dennis Chin pretty quiet first half. His first start for Richmond.
That was a training ground free kick. Looked like they'd never seen it before. Not exactly particularly well executed by Greenville there. They go all the way back to their own penalty spot.
Give Dallas J some confidence. After a quiet first half for the former Phoenix Rising goalkeeper. Second half starting quietly, just like the first half was, as Richmond will work it out of the back.
It's not like Carlos Gomez might almost play a little up top here with Keegan now they have 2 true wingers on the field. See if that helps spark things a little bit.
So far this season, Greenville averaging just over 15 shots per game. They're at 4 right now. Seiler. Keegan. Working through the back. Ward, flick a little bit too light, and it's back to Akwe and Richmond.
Yeah, good tracking back by Josh Hughes there to stifle that chance.
We'll take a look again, or keys to victory, see if both these teams are following them. For Richmond, in fact, creating chances not what they've been exactly doing so far.
No, Greenville was showing some pressure earlier. It kind of let off a little bit here as start the second half, but they've stayed focused for the most part. No real ridiculous mistakes so far. A little sloppy, as we said in the first half, but nothing too critical.
Bolduc. Gallardo. With the top of the box, Lee gets a touch, still driving in, sends it, and into the back of the net, past Dallas J. Through a pack of Triumph players, and it's Richmond with the lead on the road.
I mean, there's anybody that was likely to bring a bit of class to this game, it was going to be Joe Gallardo, and right, what a dribble there. And a solid finish past Dallas J. It wasn't the best of shots, but good enough to get past him and give Richmond a valuable goal on the road here.
Coming out of nowhere, his second of the season, and just frustrating for Greenville after they compactly held the ball there in front of them.
Seems like Joe Gallardo took almost on the entire defense there, and stab left foot shot and good enough to get past Dallas J, who perhaps wasn't expecting him to shoot with his left foot. But Greenville's defense, Joe Gallardo, too much respect and not putting a body on him. That's the result.
Paulett's getting the challenge in there inside the box. You'll see coming up, but it was just a millisecond too late as he sticks in here.
Greenville Triumph players are just playing off him. You saw Aaron Walker almost foul him outside the box, and it probably would have been a better option if he had done that there.
Well, at the half with the sub, Coach Hark sacrificing defensive play more for the offensive side, and they give up a goal to start things. A quick step here by the Triumph. Sent in and grabbed out of the air by Fitzgerald. Not the first time the Triumph have been down at home. They were down at the half, 1-0 to Lansing. They ended up coming back for the 2-1 win in their home opener. Hey, for Richmond, that's their first shot of the game, and it's a goal.
And we know what Joe Gallardo is capable of, and he showed it right there. Some nice dribbling, kept the ball close to his feet. Wasn't really much of any physical kind of challenge from Greenville, which is probably the most frustrating thing on John Harkes, is that nobody even put any kind of body out. I know he was in the box, but at least give him something to think about.
Ball sent through, stopped. Swing back on the arm by Paulitz, but no call on it. Richmond is a second half team. They scored 2 goals in the second half in their attempt at a comeback in the loss to Lansing in their season opener. And then 1 last week, and the other loss to Lansing. Thompson with the throw in near side. Paulitz. Deflection and goal kick for Fitzgerald and Richmond. 4th goal of the season for Richmond there.
You mentioned it earlier. Carlos Gomez needs to get involved in this game. He's really the only playmaking center midfielder that Greenville have with Clavs and Walker. playing just behind him, and Gomez has been invisible for a lot of this game so far. And we've seen him take over games late at certain times in this season so far. He's going to have to pull out something here, I think, if Greenville are going to get back in this one.
And he had the assist in the goal last week. Would have had a goal of his own if not for the offsides flag on Keegan. Here's Awape.
We'll say that Josh Hughes might not have the playmaking and passing ability that Maxi Rodriguez has, but he's filled in very nicely tonight at defensive midfield.
Officially on that goal by Richmond, Matt Bolduck getting the assist, his first of the season.
Give Hughes much of the credit for snuffing Gomez out of this game, to be honest.
And Hughes was kind of looked at as the replacement for Maxi Rodriguez to start this game, as Ward will come back and switch it on over to Jay.
Oh,
off the head of Paulitz.
Yeah, that one's going to come by. That was nasty. Point blank range to get right in the head.
Probably call for the trainers as well, but checking for now. And David Arbacher.
Thankfully, he's on his feet. Yeah, from about 6 feet away. Lucky it hit him on the side of the head, not the temple.
Yeah.
Seems to be okay.
Good to see him moving around after that one. This play will restart here as we tick into the 55th minute. 1-0 Richmond. Driving through the box was Gallardo, getting the goal if you're just joining us.
And some kind of discussion what to do with the drop ball here. It's pretty simple, Matt Bowl. Just give it back to Greenville somehow, whether it's as a goal kick or I guess they're just going to give him the drop. It's not rocket science, boys.
It'll be Cole Seiler that sends it on back to the kickers.
And the discussion may have been that Richmond had possession, but Greenville was never going to give it back to them in their final third.
Gallardo, recent goal scorer, over to Bolduck, back to Gallardo. Chipped on over. Lockerbie, the cross, headed up by Lee. Back down by Thompson, but the only one there is Ward. Rowan graduate knocks it on down the field. No one really there. Bermuda's pressuring, but Mwape handles it well, heading it back over to Retzlaff. Oof. Foul there as Klaus brings down the kicker.
A little harsh there. He knew he was beaten.
It was Hughes there going for the ball. Klaus has to watch himself for a card. Probably the next 1 or 2 fouls he makes might be a draw from the pocket. Bullock takes a deflection out of play. Be a throw on the far side for the Triumph. Foul called. One person pretty happy right now here in the 57th has to be Coach Bulow. First lead of the season for the Kickers. Seiler will try the right flank. Ward gets the deflection, but instead it goes back to the Kickers.
We'll say as much grief as we've given the Richmond defense. Playing very well tonight. a couple of issues in the first 20, 25 minutes or so with clearances, but since then they've shaped up and try and find out many threats at all.
Defensive discipline, one of your keys to victory.
Might be the top one so far, I think. Careful.
Bermuda's taken down from behind. Mwape.
I was going to say a couple of minutes ago that Mwape had done well tracking back so far tonight, but that wasn't his finest moment.
Looks like maybe just a talking to from David Erbacher. Well, it looks like he motioned there. Hey, foul, plus you kicked it into the signage.
Yeah, anytime you make contact from behind, there's always a threat. You're going to get the cards. They're going to look at it. Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, your
just
attention,
clipped
please.
him on the way by.
A caution
Yeah.
has been issued
Smashed
by the
into
referee to Richmond's
hoardings
number 80,
in frustration.
Natalia Mwape, in the 58th minute.
So not a welcome sight for him in his Richmond debut, but a free kick here for the Triumph, trying to equalize here in the second half. Polak will stand over it. He'll take this one into the box. A powerful one, but deflects back to the top.
Not the greatest delivery by Polak. Greenville still have it here, though.
Paulitz. Seiler barely
Oh.
keeps it in play, and a good piece of footwork there.
You guys a center back?
Bermudez. Paulitz. Thompson gets the touch in there. And a big foul there on the edge of the box, and it will give the Triumph a free kick.
Dangerous, dangerous position here.
We're hearing an upcoming sub as well for the kickers. Magolas will come in for Shanosky as we take a look at this foul.
He is again chopped on his left leg this time. See if Polak can whip this one in, or if Walker will do the same with his right foot.
Greenville this season have scored off a free kick, and they've scored off a corner kick. They like set pieces. Polak takes it. Bending ball, headed back over, but out of play. No deflection occurred, says the referee, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Nice training ground move there, the short little kick to perhaps throw the timing off a little bit of the runs.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the
your
defense,
attention, please.
Evan Lee was there for the header back
Substitution
across,
for
but just couldn't get
Richmond.
enough of it.
In the 60th minute, entering the match is number 4,
Mogul is coming in
Ivan
after starting the
McGallis,
last two. Here's a
and leaving
second
the
look
match
at that.
is number 5, Connor Shanosky.
Yeah, it was well contested by the kicker's defender. Maybe it's a little too far out. But you don't want to get too close to the goalkeeper. Again, Fitzgerald's not the tallest in the world, but he will come out and claim when he needs to.
Mogul is coming in after playing for the Rowdies in Tampa Bay last season, just 8 appearances, known for his time with Rio Grande Valley and USL Championship, 2 goals and 56 appearances over 2 seasons.
Yeah, probably just a straight up switch there for Shanosky. Some fresh legs at the back for Richmond.
61st minute, 1-0 Richmond here on the road, the first lead of the season, as Hughes is pressured by Clowes. Common foul called.
Yeah, good work again there from Josh Hughes. Just got his body in front of Paul Clowes, and there was nothing he could do to stop his momentum and taking Hughes with him.
Gallardo pressured by Walker. Looking for the latest USL League One news and content? Follow at USL League One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for exclusive access and updates. Ward battling through traffic. Let's keep possession for the Triumph. As we're hearing, Dennis Chin's first start might be over shortly for Richmond.
Yeah, he's given him an hour, which, having not started a game is probably a decent amount.
Ball goes down. Richmond back with it. Mwape, rush off of his yellow card, passes it back. Bermudez looking for the interception here, does get it from Thompson. We're hearing it's going to be Charles Boateng that comes in for Chin. Headed on, foul called.
Something Bermudez, Travis Ward may have switched wings. Parks with some more tinkering.
Substitution will
Ladies
occur
and gentlemen,
now.
your attention,
Boateng
Substitution for Richmond.
coming on, the
In
Ghanaian.
the 63rd minute.
Had the start
Entering the
against
match
Tormenta and played
is
all
number
90 minutes, but that's the only action
Charles
he's seen this
Boateng.
season.
And exiting the match, number 15, Dennis Chin.
So Chin, after this one, taking claim to that tweet we talked about, and probably going to make the fans and the Red Army a lot happier after 1 point in 3 matches. Well, looking at 3 points now in the 63rd. Long way to go, obviously.
He didn't get a goal tonight just like he did last game, but pressed well, hustled. Made himself a nuisance there with that Greenville back line. See if Charles Boateng can bring perhaps a different style of play here.
Up and out of play. Another throw in for Thompson and the kickers. Off Keegan, as his high press looks to continue for the Triumph.
Be careful here. Some players pushed up for Greenville.
Gallardo trying to exploit that. Running centrally. Lee comes in and knocks it away just in time as Ward takes over, but he's swarmed by kickers. Up and out of play as Bulow will get a little touch in there.
Doesn't sound fun being swarmed by kickers.
No.
Just describes under 7 soccer, really. Most of them aren't kicking the ball, unfortunately.
You just kick through the air and hope you hit the ball, and if it goes the right direction, there you go.
Oh, some skill.
And he talked to us about the U.S. Open Cup on the phone. He's
He did.
obviously very excited for that. Richmond Kickers, a long history in the U.S. Open Cup, and said he wouldn't mind putting back on the cleats, getting out there.
Yeah, he said the knees are the problem. That's really what forced him to retire. He said he could play a game if he had to.
Margoles surveying the left flank. Bermudez. Keegan. Numbers building forward. Paulitz sends it into the box. Brought down right in front, swept away by Lockerbie. Lee trying to keep it away from Boateng, and he does, at least for now. Great chance there by the Triumph. Walker trying to keep it going. Ball ahead, but Akwe saying, hey, let's take a moment, get some hang time on this one. Long ball from Seiler. Gomez.
Good work from Gomez there. Again, Greenville trying to go a little more direct than we've probably seen them over these first 3 or 4 games.
Downfield going after chances. Richmond just trying to stick on to this 1-0 lead.
Nice.
Stolen away from Walker. Kicker's trying to respond, but there's Paul Klaus. Sent ahead. Keegan in the box. Cuts left. The chance saved by Fitzgerald. Second one, Klaus. And no good. Saved by the defenders helping out their keeper. What an opportunity for Greenville.
Yeah, the first real moment of chaos in this game, and Greenville almost took advantage of it. Nice little pass slid through to Jake Keegan, and a good save, I think, by Kerry Fitzgerald.
The ball as well almost sneaking through the legs of Akwe, but just barely staying off the line as a foul is called against Paulitz. So now let's collect ourselves and look at the last couple chances.
Nice ball in there. Brought down by Gomez and just couldn't control it. Let's take a look at this one again. Beautifully threaded ball for Keegan. Fitzgerald came out nicely, great save with his feet. And Paul Cloud should have just hammered this and instead tried to place it low. And the two guys on the line, that was never going to go in. The way that was kicked, Cloud should have just hammered it and tried to go high.
Thompson into the box. Brought down by Boateng, stuck in the corner against Seiler. Finds it to Hughes. Now Thompson. Loses it there. Maybe the break here for Triumph, but brought down and just not good awareness there by Klaus. Gallardo, the chance, a bender, but just a one hop to Jay.
Game's opening up a bit here.
That's for sure. But once again, Paul Klaus finds himself with a chance in front of goal and just cannot make it happen.
Yeah, again, it's not his natural position as more of a defensive midfielder. But really should have just taken a whack at that one and tried to put it high. Good stuff from Greenville though, starting to press a little bit more here. And we'll see how much longer John Harks waits to make the next substitution. I think Edmundo Robinson would be a nice little insertion into this game with his one-on-one skills.
Thompson lost track of Ward there. Got back to him just in time before the cross. Bulldog. And cleared up the field by Magalhaes.
One thing we're not too sure about Robinson is his fitness. You'd have to think if he's on the bench, but of course this Triumph squad being a lot smaller than the Richmond squad, almost everybody has to be on the bench, or in the squad at least.
Fitzgerald sailing in there to grab it, and he'll give his defense some breathing room.
Akwe upset about something.
Took a tumble there out of the pack of players here in the 70th. Who's up? Who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL League One Power Rankings, only on USLLeague1.com.
As things stay like this, we know which way these two teams will be going in the power rankings.
Greenville coming in at 3 this week. Walker takes over. Reedy River Riot still going strong, but Greenville obviously looking to give them something to cheer about. They have 6 points through 2 home matches in this homestand. Looking to make it a full 9. Bermudez, the pass goes awry. Bermudez still down from that tackle. Mwape cuts in, trying to get around Lee. Needs some help. Retzlaff. Mwape, nope. Up into the Reedy River Riot, as it'll be a goal kick for Greenville. Great challenge there by Hughes. Surprised that Gomez was able to hop up out of that.
Yeah, that was more like it from Carlos Gomez. I didn't like the fact that he went backwards, but rode off a nice challenge, good touch. See if he can play himself back into this game.
Gadiri's still on the bench as well for Greenville. In the early season was one of their attacking midfielders starting out there. As Bulow just gave a tap on the shoulder over to Lee, saying hi after coaching him last season. Omar Mohammed, heard a lot about him in the last few weeks, but he's been injured to start the season. Makes his first appearance here for the Triumph.
Entering the pitch,
22-year-old
number 18,
Somalian,
Omar
Ohio native, we'll call him.
and exiting the match,
I'll let
number
you talk a
7,
little bit more about him, but
Christopher
obviously he has
Bermudez.
the Harks connection. Played there with SC Cincinnati in 2016.
Spent 2017 with Portland Timbers 2 in the USL Championship, making 28 appearances, 1 goal, and 2 assists over that stretch. See what he can contribute here as Triumph look to equalize here in the 72nd. Headed down in the box. Keegan lays it off, but no one there to make the run. He thought Ward was coming over.
Yeah, he's similar in style to Edmundo Robinson is Omar Mohammed. Good one-on-one, very imaginative, creative, quick feet. See if he can bring some of that to this contest.
Mawape making the last shot for Richmond. Pass it up ahead, through ball to Gallardo in the corner. Back over to Mawape, looking for some help in the box maybe. He'll knock it over to Retzloff. Hughes, knocked down by Klaus. Play continues. All ball, says the referee.
That's a great call by referee Urbacher there. He was always looking to go down.
Muhammad goes down against Thompson. We're going to keep playing. That's one thing we've noticed from David Urbacher tonight. Not too much management with cards or fouls. Offsides flag is up here, though, as Boateng went after it.
No, he's done a very good job so far, has the Sir. We'll see if John Harkes agrees with us.
And there is the head coach for Greenville, bundled up there on that cool night, looking to equalize, and sent on a player he's very high on, Omar Muhammad, and here he is with the ball. Muhammad trying to get around Thompson. He's swarmed by kickers. Paulitz, they knock it back to the right wing. Muhammad sends it in, flicked up by Keegan, and a heavy strike on that one, but well out of play.
Nice ball in there by Omar Muhammad. It was always going to be a little difficult, though, with the pace on it for Keegan to get it on target with the run he was making.
Fans follow Greenville Triumph, Richmond Kickers, and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+, and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Ward down the left flank. He's met by Lockerbie. Cuts out. Cross in. Headed back down by Akwe. And cleared up ahead by Lockerbie.
Akwe's had himself a very nice game this evening. Came into this game that was among the leaders in interceptions and showed why he's there tonight. Been in the right place at the right time. And very calm in possession back there.
7 appearances for New York Red Bulls, 2 last season. Showing that he deserves that starting spot once again. Triumph, 15 minutes now plus stoppage time. Try to find this equalizer and maybe a winner.
Nice ball.
Try it out with Polak on the left flank, but there's Fitzgerald again. It was towards Gomez at that far post. Muhammad takes over. Up and out of play. Gallardo, the only goal in this match. Deciphering the central area of this Greenville defense and walking his way right through the box and scoring.
You have to think it'll be among the contenders for goal of the week, that one. It's poor there from Tyler Polak. Hasn't had his best game tonight.
Throwing on the far side for Lockerbie. One of those as well when Coach Harkes meets with his team in training this week. He'll just look at them and say, what were you doing here? Surprising mistake for the defense. As Paulitz is challenged, coming a little bit late as player down away from the ball. It's Mawape.
Taking a kick on the side of the leg, perhaps. Trainer's going to come on and take a look at it.
Making his first appearance and start for the Richmond Kickers. Updating you what's going on over in Chattanooga. 3-0 in the 76th over Tormenta for the Red Wolves. As a sub coming up here in Greenville. And it will be Daniel Jackson, who started the first few matches for Richmond, but with Dennis Chin back, not getting that spot here today.
The match is number 9, Daniel Jackson. Exiting is number 80, Mataya.
And it will be the end of the day for Mawape.
Some fresh legs on to continue that press. I mentioned earlier, Jackson, I think he only has 2 touches in the box in his last appearances. But not in here tonight to do that. He's in here to chase and press and help his team hold on to this 1-0 lead.
Kicker's looking to take another goal with them back to Richmond, but instead out of play. Corner kick coming for Bolduc and Richmond. They'll take their time here in the 78th. Right in front of the Sierra Nevada Beer Garden. I'm sure some fans are warming up on this evening. It looks like a booking for Bolduc on the time wasting pretty clearly. Out of play, and it will stay with Greenville.
Interesting to see where Omar Mohammed slots in here.
He's started on the right wing.
Yeah, now he's back on the left.
So 2 subs so far for the Triumph. Richmond using all of theirs already as Keegan breaks through the traffic. Met behind him by Gallardo. Lockerbie trying to get to that one. Muhammad on the left flank now. Keegan trapped in the corner. Tackled down, but not before the interception. Out of play, and it stays with the Kickers.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention. A caution has been issued by the referee earlier in the 78th minute.
There's the
To Richmond's number
confirmation
11,
on the Bolduc
Matt Bolduc.
yellow card. Muhammad keeps this barely in play. Numbers going to the box for the Triumph. Cross comes in off of Lockerbie, and he wins the corner kick at least. And a chance here for the Triumph.
Greenville.
Yeah, Muhammad's had an impact so far since coming in here, using those quick feet. He's attempting to get that ball in the box and producing a corner.
Walker will take the service here.
Travis Ward's got some height on that back post.
Headed up by Magales. Ooh, heavy challenge on the tail end of that one. And Klaus, he'll be booked for that.
It's a Paul Klaus special.
So maybe for Boateng, the air knocked out of him. They'll bring the trainers immediately on. As we'll take another look. Elbow straight there to the midsection of Boateng.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention. A caution has been issued
Second yellow
by
card
the
of the season.
referee to Greenville. Number 6, Paul
Professional
Klaus,
foul. Stop the quick
in the
counter attack,
81st
but
minute.
that one's going to hurt in the morning.
And no matter how you tackle him there, it was probably going to be a card. Greenville, very important points here, obviously, because they might move to top of the table, but as well, they're hitting the road all the way to Madison, Wisconsin for next Saturday. That'll be the first road match in quite a while, so see how that tests them, especially with the home opener for Forward Madison and their strong fan base. The flock will be in full force.
Yeah, we're talking to Coach Harks this week about the difficulties sometimes in getting out of Greenville because flights aren't as accessible. There's some bigger cities.
Richmond making the 6.5-hour drive down Interstate 85 to the Greenville area for this one.
Yeah, we were joking with Coach Bueller about whether it's nicer with the longer bus ride, even though it's technically a shorter trip if you can, because obviously the flights are cut 2 to 3 hours. But he said he doesn't mind the bus ride as long as he's not driving.
Richmond trying to find another here on the road. call from the referee on that tumble. Muhammad sends it up, but right in between his teammates.
Yeah, Keegan had made a run forward, and I think he thought the ball was going to go out wide to Travis Ward, and the ball was too far behind him to get a play on it.
Richmond back with it. 8 shots for the home side, 3 for Richmond. Of those 8, 4 shots on goal for the Triumph. Still nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
Daniel Jackson there showing a little lack of confidence. He had a good amount of space on the edge of the box. Instead of trying to turn and go, went backwards with it.
Little flick ahead. Bulldog brings it down, traps it in the corner. Lee up to Paulitz. Muhammad making the run. Ball's over the top, but more centrally as Keegan takes over. Muhammad now down the right flank. Numbers back already for the kickers, though. As he flicks it through, but David Erbacher saying, get up.
Good no call there.
As it comes into play there, can he actually get to it? He couldn't.
No, he just flopped over as a result, looking for the foul. Referees know when you're a player looking for a foul. They've seen everything.
84th minute now. We'll try the right flank again with Muhammad.
He's all over the place, Muhammad. Left, right, left again.
Chips it in there. Fitzgerald sails through a few green jerseys and comes down with that one.
Yeah, the veteran will take his time here, no doubt. Not the worst ball in from Muhammad, but the tallest player there, Travis Ward, was a good distance away from it. Kira came out nicely to claim.
Pressure at the top from Jackson. Pollock. And we're hearing Sammy Gadiri will be the next sub on for Greenville, and the last one at that. A creative force out there, Aaron Walker,
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention,
putting in a
please.
good 85
Substitution for
minutes.
Greenville
He'll come
in
off.
the 85th minute. Entering the match is number 21, Sammy Gadiri.
Yeah, last chance move here by John Harkes.
Number 8,
Aaron Walker, not the most attacking of players, and Sammy Gadiri certainly is. He actually started the first game of the season up front. And Coach Harkes was a little upset at him for coming back so much to help out, but he's not going to be asked to come back tonight here with his team down 1-0 and time running out.
Muhammad flicks it into the box. Almost brought down by Gomez. Akwe clearing it out of there. I'll go out of play. Long throw in coming.
It's a delightful ball. Gomez had just got a touch on that and knocked it into his own path. He had a great shot at on goal.
He plows to take it. Clemson grad. Headed up, out of play. That should be a corner kick. Indeed it is for Greenville.
Greenville showing some urgency here,
Corner
just as they
for
need
the
to.
Triumph.
Getting out of subs, both teams. So we'll finish with what we got on the field here with these 22.
Boca Raton, Florida native. Gadiri. He'll send the service in. Falls to Bulldog. Keegan back over to Muhammad. Cuts over. Flicks it in. Not deep enough, though, and cleared away by Jackson, at least for now. Muhammad. All the way back to his keeper, Jay. Everything going through Muhammad right now after coming off the bench. First appearance for the Triumph. Out of play, Paulitz with the throw-in. Over the top, Jackson running on, but Jay has the first say. And it's up and out of play.
Yeah, Dallas Jay, good positioning there. Allowed him to make that play.
Just a few minutes remaining for Greenville to try and equalize. 88th minute, they'll heave it over the top again. Lockerbie saving the day on that one.
I'm not sure why Sammy Gadiri is sitting so far back and taking these free kicks. Certainly not a like-for-like substitution with that Walker. Just to get further up the field here with only a couple of minutes left.
Ward, left flank. Sends it in there. Keegan's there. Back to the top of the box. And a foul called there, and it'll be against Keegan. Back to the kickers. And to your point, Ross, one thing that Coach Harks has expressed to us over the past few weeks is one problem they do have with Sammy Gadiri. He sometimes sits back a little bit too much. I do remember him saying that as we take another look at this foul.
Yeah, stepped on his foot on the way down. I'm not sure if the reaction matched the veracity of the foul, but Akwe being a smart professional and taking some more ticks off the clock here.
So it's looking like, at least for now, two of the top three teams in the USL League One power rankings might be going down tonight. 87th minute over in Chattanooga, and they're up 3-1 after Tormenta got one back in the second half. Triumph, still time here. Of course, we have stoppage time. Klaus bats it ahead. The run by Keegan. Akwe heads it on to Fitzgerald.
More great work from Akwe there. Might be my man of the match tonight, I think. Gallardo's goal was nice, but Akwe's been stellar.
Taking care of the ball, that Greenville pressure up top. Fitzgerald some key saves as well in the first 15 minutes. We're hearing from the field potentially 4 minutes of stoppage time. We'll see if that's the final tally.
Kevin Pollitt's getting down the field.
Muhammad. Gadiri, back to Muhammad, flicks it on to Paulitz. Looking for the cross. He'll send it in there, back post. Brought up, down again. Gadiri cuts over. Muhammad. Klaus, his shot deflected. Boateng trying to go the other way. Will continue play. Polak. Gadiri. Deflected away by Margules.
Better now from a desperate Greenville team.
The fourth official has indicated
officially 4 minutes of stoppage time.
Second half.
Left, looking for the equalizer. Back over inside the box. Gomez trying to find some room against Akwe. Gadiri, left flank now. Tackle there by Boateng. Ward trying to keep possession, out of play. Throw in to the home side.
Good work there by Charles Boateng on the much larger Travis Ward. Had to hold his ground and did. One big long throw here from Klaus in the mixer.
Headed down by Lockerbie and cleared all the way downfield. So with the Reedy River Riot at his back, Jay will heave this ahead, looking for the equalizer.
With a head tennis.
Heaved out of play up into the stands. Richmond back with it. Looking to burn out these final 2.5 minutes.
Is this basketball? Looks like there's no doubt about that one. Personal foul from Hughes. He looked like he was playing on an NBA court rather than a USL field.
It's almost, high school football season.
The referee has issued a caution to Richmond in the 92nd
Pretty clear
minute
yellow card
to number 7,
for
Josh Hughes.
It allows Jay to move the ball to midfield. Parkway will clear it.
Guess who?
Yeah, really.
The right spot at the right time. Here come Richmond now again. Good tackle there by Klaus.
Off of him, and a throw in for Richmond, and this might take a few seconds off the clock.
The key with these late heaves in the box is going to be who gets to that second ball first, and Richmond's won that battle.
Lockerbie will take it. Coach Bulow looking for the club's first ever win in USL League One. It'll be a statement win here today. Greenville, a team getting a lot of respect around the league in the following 2 weeks. Jay. Muhammad trying to sell it against Thompson. Up and out of play. Throw in for the Triumph. Player went down at the end of that one for the Kickers. That's Retzlaff there with a cramp.
Cole Saylor giving the outright look at the ref. He's going to add the time.
Richmond trying to hold on to 3 points on the road. Next Saturday, they'll host Chattanooga Red Wolves, the start of a 3-match homestand of their own in City Stadium. Get the Red Army back going after their home opener, a 3-2 loss to Lansing, and then 0-0 draw with Tormenta.
Retzlaff limping off the field. That calf cramp.
Started the match at one of the backline positions. There's Coach Bulow there checking his watch. Klaus over everyone in the box as Gadiri races after this ball. It'll be a throw-in. Back to Jay. Has to think quickly. Lee heads it on. No one there. Cleared back into the Greenville night.
Maybe one last chance here. Oh, that's not going to help Maz with 2 balls on the field.
Klaus asks for the ball. He gets 2. Hit it on by Lee. Pollock trying to make one final go of it with Jay. And we're deep, deep, deep into stoppage time.
Well, now I get one last free kick here. Over the back says referee David Erbacher. And Greenville will heave this one into the box and see what happens. Again, not sure why Stanley Gadiri is taking this with his height, his offensive prowess, but
I think Pollock's saying the same thing to him. Gadiri stands over it after coming off the bench.
We're looking for that far corner of the 6-yard box and getting Evan Lee or somebody over there onto it. It's too deep.
Gadiri
Played by Kira Fitzgerald, and that should do it.
sails it in there, and just the way it started, Fitzgerald bringing down these balls out of the air from the Triumph. This might be it. There's the final whistle. Richmond, a statement result here on the road, 1-0 over the Triumph.
Final score for tonight's match.
Yeah, big win for the men in
Richmond
white, getting
Kickers
healthy.
1,
As
and your
Dennis Chin
Greenville
told us not to
Triumph
worry.
0.
There's the first sign of that,
Remember to
that we
join
don't
us
need to
at
worry,
our
and good
Fan
win for the
Fest
boys.
directly across the street from the
Big win
stadium
for
on May
an
4th,
historic club.
starting at 5 o'clock
And they'll move to
p.m.
4
as we
points
get
on the
ready to host
table
the
with
North Texas
3
Soccer
home
Club.
matches coming their
Please
way,
drive
along with
safely,
another
and thank you for
in the U.S.
supporting
Open
your
Cup. And it's this man, Gallardo, that made the difference there through the Greenville defense and getting the 1-0 win. We'll be back with highlights and full match stats coming up next. Welcome back here into Greenville, South Carolina. That man, number 10, Gallardo, his second of the season, proving the difference. 1-0 Richmond Kickers as we get set to take a look at our highlights from this match. Overall, plenty of chances for the Triumph, but just not able to make them fall as we got things started on this cool day.
This was a great chance here for Paul Clowes, and it's a great save by Kerry Fitzgerald to palm it away.
And it started a theme for the night of Paul Clowes. This was his first chance that could have made something happen. Eli Lockaby, a fantastic match considering no points given by him on the field.
Especially in the first half. He disappeared a little bit in the second half. His defensive duties took priority, but this was a nice little chance here. Well cleared away by Cole Seiler.
There's Jake Keegan making a run, and this, another opportunity that forward probably wanted back.
And one of my keys to the game we talked about was the focus for Greenville. They just didn't seem to have it tonight. Gallardo was the one guy who give him a chance. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later here. Here it is now.
Here's the goal.
Left, right, left again. Nice finish with the left foot past Dallas J.
Brilliant finish there from Gallardo, but at the end of the day, you have 3 or 4 defenders there that could have stopped him.
Yeah, he got a bit of a lucky bounce off Evan Lee. The ball fell right back to him, but well taken.
Greenville looking to have their say. Ball sent in, but cleared away by Lockaby.
Yeah, that was the one Gomez is going to want to look at. They want that one back. He just had a little softer touch off the chest. He would have had a great side on goal. This was the chaos. Again, Clowes again, but you really don't want your best scoring chances coming to your defensive midfielder.
That was another shot on goal by Clowes, just not able to convert after the save by Fitzgerald, who quietly, a fantastic match for Fitzgerald, facing 4 shots on target from Greenville. Here's our full match stats, and shots heavily in favor of the Triumph, but just not able to convert this evening.
Yeah, not enough quality chances. The Triumph really just didn't have it tonight. As I said to you earlier, they were talked about the focus, a lot of things. End of a 3-game home trip, you're comfortable, homestand, excuse me, and now the big road trip coming up to Wisconsin as the fans file out here, the Reedy River Riot.
Unfortunately there, the weather also cooling off the Triumph as they will finish this homestand with 6 key points, so towards the top half of that USL League One table, but unfortunately not able to get to the top spot after this evening, with a 1-0 loss to Richmond, and Richmond putting some other fans on notice, pleasing the Red Army, and of course Dennis Chin after said, hey, stick with us, guys.
Yeah, I don't think John Hawks will be upset with the amount of points they do have through 4 games, but this will leave a bad taste in his mouth, and it'll be a week till he's able to get a chance to get it out of there.
A big thank you to our entire crew. Ryan Rose, our producer, Miguel Magnan on replay, and alongside me, Ross Davenport. I'm Chris Makoviak. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.